Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Mark Rodgers, who's an entrepreneur and founder and president of Trailstone Insurance Group. Mark, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Hey, looking forward to learning what you guys are doing, but get us started with first your story and your background and what got you into the insurance industry in the first place.
Sure. Yeah, moved to Colorado in 1991, but didn't get in the insurance industry right away. Came out here to ski and got into the auto industry and really learned a lot of things I didn't like and things I did like about how to treat people right. And so when my time in the car business kind of came to an end, we started Trailstone Insurance here in August of 2013.
So you said the car business. Why didn't you start a business in the auto industry?
You know, it's an industry that, even with one price available and things like that, I still negotiating really was taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And I just, it didn't sit well with my soul, so to speak. So it was something that I had to get away from. The income was great and we were very successful, but, I also had to look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah. That's a good point. And maybe it just kind of ran its course and you just wanted that fresh start, but still taking the concepts of serving customers and clients with a big decision, like insurance. So talk a little bit about your business philosophy and also the types of insurance that you guys work with your clients on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started the agency in August of 2013, and it was really just myself, and it was nice because I didn't have to worry about, like we were talking about the auto industry where it was sell and take advantage of folks. And my number one thing that I did was treat everyone the way that I want to be treated, meaning a spin on the golden rule, but basically I would treat all my clients the way that I would want to be treated, our insurance carriers and vendors, and eventually team members. But that philosophy really got us going, and that's the primary reason why I started in the insurance industry, is because I could control that narrative and how we truly took care of clients. And things started off a little bit slow at first, but in the insurance industry, it's a lot of word of mouth and a lot of referrals, and that treat everyone the way that we want to be treated has filtered through everything we do. Any decision we make here now, currently with 70 some odd folks working here, we always run that filter to make sure that we're doing the right thing for people, whether it's our clients, the team members, or the vendors, as I said.
Can you think of an example or a time where you've put someone else's interest ahead of the company's interest, where a competitor of yours might have done it another way? It actually cost you $1 or $2, but then the client felt like, wow, I actually understood the process. I see that you could have done it one way or the other, and thank you for treating me this way. Is there an example you can think of that way?
Yeah, it's huge, actually. Insurance renewals, right? So you buy your insurance in year one, and then many times, many agencies, they just renew it automatically for you, and they say that they're going to review it, but they really don't shop it. They just take a quick look and they go, oh, it went up 2% or 5% or 10% or whatever. And they just put your file back in the drawer and they hope that you don't call and complain. And, personally, I was shopping my policy every year, even if it went down. I'm shopping my policy every year to make sure that I still have the best options out there, meaning price and coverage.
Coverages. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was one of the first things that we started doing, was shopping everybody that had an increase. And most insurance agencies, they'll say, yeah, we'll review it, but they really don't shop it, meaning they actually don't go out to the insurance carriers. And we have over 40 insurance carriers. Most insurance agencies don't. They might have 2, 3, or 4. And we actually go out and see, okay, is this still the best option for this client? And then we do a review with the client and show them, okay, here's the 40 insurance carriers. You're still best here, or we need to move you. And That's a very expensive proposition for us to do. We have 2 full-time people here in the United States. Software that is very expensive on top of that, to do all that shopping. And then we have some contract labor too that helps there when things really get busy. So it costs us in excess of $10,000 a month to make that happen for everybody. But we believe it's worth it because that's how we'd want ourselves treated. We want to shop around
So
policies.
when you hear someone say, or a company say, oh, well, the other guys, they only say that they do it, but we actually do it. They would, my opinion is that they never quantify that. But you've taken it 10 steps forward by saying, yeah, we actually do it. And we have staked our flag in the ground and proved that we do it because we've got 2+ full-time people. We've got a whole division that is our renewal verification, whatever you call it, right? But people that are actually, that's their whole job. It's not just the agent who's overwhelmed going, yeah, we checked on it. You have an actual full-time department that's their whole job, is to make sure that every client has the best rates and coverages each year.
Yeah, two full-time people, and then we have 6 folks that work in that process as well. So it's actually closer to 8. Yeah, and
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's, if you take a look at our Google reviews, over 1,500 Google reviews just here in Colorado, and they're 5 stars. It's mentioned as a constant theme. One reason why I went with these guys is they have 40 carriers. They have the heart of a teacher, meaning they educate me about what I'm buying. So I'm not just buying some random number, and making sure I know that I have the right coverage, if the unthinkable happens when a claim comes. And so we take care of everybody the first year, but more importantly, year after year, we keep checking for them, and it's all automatic. They don't have to ask.
Yeah. That's just really special. And I think that's something that people don't really realize until it comes up to their awareness. It's like the old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And someone listening to this might be going, hey, let me call up my people and go, tell me exactly the process that you ran my policy through to verify that I'm at the very best, and pin them on that and just make sure, because if they don't give you a solid answer, like we have a full-time department of several people checking on this, you might want to get that second opinion to make sure you're in the right spot. And I think that you touched on also Google reviews, because guess what? Anybody out there can manufacture good word from someone if it's just filling out a form, but Google does not allow the owner of Trailstone Insurance Group, Mark Rodgers, or any employee to go in there and manipulate anything. It has to come from the customer, from their IP address. So that's as, hands off and arm's distance as you can get. And most people, if they have 100 or 200 reviews, it's like, wow, that's Rockstarville. You got 1,500 just in Colorado. That's astounding.
Yeah, and I just looked the other day. I think the next nearest one was 1,100 reviews in Colorado, and they're like a 4.6. And if you read the comments, I encourage anybody listening, go read the comments, because we do not incentivize, do not pay. But I don't even think I could pay for the words that are expressed on that on Google.
That's a good point. I was at an event last weekend and videoed someone doing a review on my service, and after it was done, I turned to my friend there and I said, I couldn't have paid him to say anything. I couldn't have created what he just said. It was like just so pure. And to when someone can go through your Google reviews, read through those, because it's not just thumbs up, good job, yes, they're wonderful, because then you can read between the lines and go, yeah, that was forced. But when they can go through and paragraph after paragraph, go into detail, that's pretty amazing. So I think that's a really huge piece of what makes you guys different than the competition. I want to dive in a little bit deeper on that philosophy you're talking about, like the heart of a teacher, because I think a lot of times people don't understand what they're getting. And if you're nice enough and it seems like you're genuine, and okay, I guess let's just do it that way. But I think being an educator and an advocate and having that heart of a teacher takes it to a whole other level. So talk a little bit about how you guys do that.
Yeah, and heart of a teacher, we were really doing it. We're also a Dave Ramsey endorsed insurance provider, and he talks about a heart of a teacher, but really we were already doing it before he came along. Excuse me. And the heart of a teacher just really, what it really boils down to for us is we are going to teach and help people understand what they're purchasing. So it's not just, many times you hear numbers thrown about, 100, 300, 100.
Yeah.
Well, some people know what that means, but most people don't, and they don't realize that, okay, if I have assets of maybe $1 million, that 100 only means $100,000 in coverage, and then you're
Yeah.
putting your $1 million of assets at risk. And so we have that type of mentality, just like we kind of explained there, helping people understand that. Many times people don't even realize that they're buying 25, 50, 15, which is state minimums. And that's only $15,000 if they hit somebody else's car. There's very few used cars out there anymore that are, less than $15,000. And then, so what happens? Well, you
And you
get
probably
sued.
would never in a million years put someone in that type of policy. But I can only imagine if someone was comparing price only,
Mhm.
the price for that type of coverage is going to look really attractive. And if all you did was pick it on price only, it's like, give me that one. But then it's just paper and fire. It's just like smoke and mirrors. And what happens when you actually get in an accident? And sure, being that hard of a teacher and educating might mean you have that hard conversation by saying, okay, let's just kind of pull this apart. And I'm not going to go doom and gloom, but what if? Because
Yep.
we know that accidents happen. We know that someone can, just be distracted for half a second and something can happen. What if? And so when you can compare that way and go, look at this policy that you are getting quoted, that is a great premium, but it's because the coverages aren't to your benefit. That's a big aha.
Yeah, it is. And when people, especially homeowners, most people in the state of Colorado at least have equity. And if you only had $15,000 or $25,000 in coverage, your wages can be garnished, and those investments that you have outside of retirement, or potentially even equity in your home, the judge could ask you to sell that to pay for it if it was really a big claim. And you can't watch TV for more than an hour without seeing multiple personal injury attorneys,
Yep.
and that's what they feast on. They're looking for those type of
The fear
folks, that have assets that bought poor insurance.
Yep.
And so, us helping people be educated or having that heart of a teacher has had many aha moments where people said, I had no idea the risk I was putting myself in.
And when it's
Because now they're
done the right
self-insured.
way, not demeaning or belittling the person and not being forceful like the bull in a china closet, when you're purely explaining and teaching and they see it in black and white and it's like, your call. But if it were me and I'm putting my mom in this or my family in this, here's why. I think to me, I'm pulling back, kind of going 30,000 foot view, going, that's relationship building material right there, because
Yes.
we all know that there's this brand new tool out there that not many people know about called Google. And we all know that you can go Google best car insurance, best homeowners, and you can find all kinds of things out there and run some queries and get some rate that looks all wonderful and go click, set it up. But then when you dig down below it, it's like, ooh, what kind of coverage did you get? So it's really the commodity versus a relationship. And you have left Commodityville in the dust, building relationships so that when people, actually have something that might have happened, they're covered. Can you think of a time where maybe someone, I'm sure you've got a customer or 1,000 that maybe they had some claim and it's like, man, if you hadn't told me that, we would have been up the creek.
Absolutely. Big thing that happened recently was the fire up on the north end of town, the Marshall fire. And we did have a client that lost a house there, and we had helped them buy the right coverage. And, everybody's seen on the news how many people are underinsured. Well, this client is not. They've been totally taken care of. The rebuilding of their house is going as planned, and they'll be moving back in, I think, in the next few months here, but maybe the next 6 months. But their additional living expenses, everything was just perfect for them, other than the heartache of losing all your personal possessions. But they didn't have a financial problem behind it, or they didn't have to get an attorney to try to fix the problems.
Right.
So they were very, very happy. Also mentioned,
that's a big point.
Yeah, a huge point. You had mentioned a commodity. A lot of insurance carriers online and on TV, they are trying to make insurance a commodity.
Yeah.
But you're only dealing with typically, let's say, one carrier like Progressive or Geico or USAA, AAA, whatever, you name it. If they don't represent 40 carriers like we do, they can't shop. And so we don't want to find you the cheapest premium per se, just and have a horrible set of coverages as well. But the great thing is, if you have good coverage, or even the lower limits, because we have 40 carriers, we always come back with the best price, or 99% of the time. And if you're only working with a carrier that has one or two or three options, sometimes it's like putting a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do
And
that.
that's a big point with being independent like that, with that vast number of carriers, because, we all hear things on the radio, TV, online, like, oh, bundle this and save that and come to us. Well, if you are with a major carrier and that's your captive, working for them, and we won't mention names because it doesn't matter. But if you're not independent, you are limited to what you can offer. And you might think that it's the greatest thing out there because it's the best you can offer. But wow, your eyes get opened up when you have 39 other carriers, plus the one. So you got 40 plus carriers that you can go, why don't we just see what we can get here? Oh my. Well, if we go with this one and we have, so I think that being that independent gives you guys flexibility, but it gives the flexibility to the client to know that they're getting the best deal.
Sure. Well, many independents will only have 3 or 4 carriers too. To work with more carriers than that, you really need to purchase some higher dollar or expensive software that can do all the shopping for you and incorporate AI. And it's a cost of doing business. But again, if it goes back to, we want to treat other people the way we want to be treated, personally, I want to look at all 40 carriers for myself.
Yep.
And so that's why we do it for our clients as well. Having an independent agency, it's very difficult to get numerous carriers, because every carrier, they want to be utilized, they want to have efficiencies. And if you don't have enough volume, which our agency is quite large, where we can provide policyholders to all these carriers, they want to do business with us.
Yeah.
And it's a big differentiator from smaller independent agencies that only have those 3, 4, 5 carriers, and they don't have all the best options. So
it's like when you see Shark Tank and you see, I'm thinking of, Mr. Wonderful is famous for saying this. Well, what's proprietary about what you've got? I'll go out and start the same business tomorrow and crush you. Mm-hmm. So if some independent insurance company out there is like, oh, I'm going to start my company tomorrow, or I'm a new company, I'm going to get set up with all those carriers. Good luck, because most probably you don't have the track record to get set up. And then even if you did, there would be requirements that you couldn't fulfill. And so you're not going to maintain that 40 carrier, kind of credential.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. What we do, somebody else could start an agency very much similar to ours, but they probably don't have the philosophy and they don't live by it. And then they don't have the volume that we have to, make these carriers happy with the high volume that they require.
Wow. So what are you seeing moving forward in the industry? I mean, obviously you can't open up your computer without seeing AI, ChatGPT, and then we've talked about commodity. So, you've solved many of those things, but what are you seeing moving forward with some of the carriers or some of the industry leaders in the years to come?
Yeah, that's you mentioned ChatGPT, incredible stuff on the AI, and it's coming to the insurance industry. We already, I mentioned some higher end software. We already use a little bit of AI and a lot of database connectivity to be able to provide those quotes. But in the future, AI will take the place of some agents, and we say that we will have AI here with Trailstone, but we are going to, maybe enable our agents and make them super agents with that AI, rather than
replace.
Replace. Because have you ever tried to get customer service from somebody at Amazon? I tried one time to get a hold. I've tried numerous times, but I finally got a hold of a lady in the Philippines, I think it was.
Yeah.
With Amazon, and she still couldn't help me. And probably a large percentage of the market, and when I say large, 30 to 40%, 5 years from now, will be doing business that way for insurance. But you won't have the heart of a human, and you won't have, somebody that really cares about you behind that policy, and there to actually pick up the phone when, the house burns down.
I agree so much, and I see so many things online like, oh, run for the hills, we're going to all lose their jobs because of ChatGPT and AI. But I think when people can stop and focus on something, which is what you just said, you need to have that human behind the AI, the chat GPT, to know what inputs to put in there and what those outputs actually mean. And I like to use the word synthesize. So the true leaders out there are going to be the ones that can synthesize information that we got through some AI, kind of data gathering and go, okay, because of this, most people stop right here. But what we do is we take that to the next level and go, because of this, we now can recommend A, B, C, D, and E combined for you, kind of like what you're saying with all of these carriers. So it's the true winners in the new realm that we're going into are the ones that have a brain in their head, that know how to serve humans, treat them the right way. And all of a sudden that alone sets you apart, because you actually get a return phone call, return email. But then you're able to go, oh, what if we took this and combined it with this? And then because you're actually in the industry, you're not relying on some algorithm. So I don't fear AI and chat GPT. I actually am embracing the concept, because I know that when my mind is working behind the scenes, synthesizing, bringing the best for my clients, and I know you would agree with this, your clients win. So good. Use some AI to give me some more good stuff. So all these good things you're talking about, that's AI chat GPT. You start layering this in and it's like, wow, how much better is Trailstone going to be? So I think that right there is a huge aha for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the AI-enabled human agent. We talk about it on a regular basis here, and we're already trying to do that the best we can with, like I mentioned, that database connectivity that we have and the AI that we're using. We want to make it, great for the team member here too. They need to feel like they're doing meaningful work and helping people. And I think the AI can come in and help them do that. They can make suggestions that, maybe our agent didn't think about that day or whatever. So we're really looking forward to that experience for the client, because we think it's going to be way better than what Amazon's going to be able to do, or Google, and probably better than anybody else in the market, because we're already focused on it.
Yep. You already get that foundation and groundwork. Well, Mark, I think that is just spectacular. I've loved learning what you're building, and now growing from here. You've got that solid foundation. You didn't build your castle on sand. You built it on a rock. And so now easily you're able to scale and serve. So I think that's just spectacular. So if someone is interested in learning more about Trailstone and reaching out, connecting with you guys, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, check out our website. It's trailstoneinsurance.com. But you can reach out to me directly at the phone number is 303-792-2355, and I'm at extension 125. And then my email is mark@trailstoneinsurance.com.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Mike.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.